Hey you, it's Evie. I'm sorry, I don't know how to start out this video. And I don't have a lot of time to film. Xander's playing, so if you hear a bunch of noise, it's my little 3-year-old. So I'm going to try making this before he needs something or Gracie gets home from school. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail in case anybody underage is watching, because I feel maybe it'd be good for them to watch. But also for moms and women, just all ages really. Okay, so the movie 13 Reasons Why has been trending. I'll share links in the description box below if you're interested in knowing more about that or like watching a trailer on it. Maybe that's what I'll share, but it's on Netflix. In case you don't know, just a quick run by. It's about a girl that commits suicide, and she leaves these tapes, all these people that helped her make the choice of committing suicide. In my opinion, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad in this movie. I'm not really into trending kind of things, just like anything else. It's hyped up, usually is hyped up, and then it's dead in a week or two, and then just moves on to the next thing. But I kept hearing about it, and I'm a sucker for the more realistic kind of stuff, so I decided to watch it. I just watched the whole, season? I just finished the whole season early this morning. I get up at 2:40 every morning, so I get a little good amount of time there. So if I'm not editing my videos, I like to watch a show. I had a really hard time with parts of the show. I could relate to the girl Hannah a lot when I was her age, and many of the parts I was in the same position. Now I heard the book is more about spreading mental awareness, PTSD, and depression, but in the movie it doesn't show so much like that. It plays more like Hannah's more dramatic and stuff, but if you knew she had PTSD, it'd make more sense. But regardless, the main thing I want to talk about is the rape scene. They showed a couple rape scenes in there, and it's that kind of rape scene that so many get thrown off to the side as it was her fault. She wasn't really raped because because of how she handled the situation. It shows a part where she goes out to a party and she gets in a jacuzzi type thing, and her friend was telling her just to wear her bra and panties. It's like a bikini anyways, so she did, which was out of character for Hannah. This boy comes along and forces himself on her in the jacuzzi, and she says no. And he continues anyway, and she lays there just like she was to be dead. It's like she gave up on saying no, and she just looks so lifeless. There was another girl that was raped in there too. She was at a party and she had drank too much, so she could only remember parts, but then later on it all made sense to her. And so often people are told that this isn't rape, it was the girl's fault. She shouldn't have worn that skirt, she shouldn't have done this, she shouldn't have worn that, she should have done it this way, she should have kept beating him to get him off of her, or she deserved it because she shouldn't have been there. That really bothers me, because regardless of what you're wearing, or just because you're not screaming back doesn't mean you didn't want it. But the part that really got me was her friend Jessica that was raped. Like I said, she drank too much. At the end, her dad came into her bedroom and asked if she was okay, and she said yes. I mean, of course, she's just gonna say, yeah, I'm fine. And then the dad, no, I can see that, something like, no, I can see that something's wrong, I see it in your face. And she just started bawling. And I tell you what, guys, I was bawling right along with her. I had a similar situation happen, and I haven't talked about it really to anybody. It happened when I was 13. I just brushed it off as my fault, and I kept it pretty much a secret. I'm 28 years old right now. It's not something I should be crying about, right? But obviously it was something that I didn't overcome when I was 13. And I had the stepsister that kind of wrecked my chances of talking to my mom, so I thought she just told my mom, oh, Evie lost her virginity and this and that, and you know, she was just one of those stepsisters. And I just kind of pulled away from everybody. That was a really hard time. First started seeing, I had a lot of issues. I didn't know my father until I was 10, and once I did, I got in a little bit of trouble, and then I was a bigger girl, and I was at a party, per se, and after drinking a bunch, this boy that I thought I really liked was pushing himself on me. And I had said, no, I don't know how many times. I know I was pretty drunk. I know it doesn't take much to get a 13-year-old drunk. And I remember saying no and no and no. And then finally just, you know, he kept saying things like, I don't remember what he was saying, but I was like agreeing with it in my head, like, okay, maybe he want me as his girlfriend then. Maybe he want to be my boyfriend. Maybe this is what I gotta do for him to like me. It's like, I was very, very insecure. It was really hard. It was the start of a lot of bad things that I did. And I get it. I get that you can put yourself in that position, a very bad position, where you shouldn't have been at a party, you shouldn't have been drinking, but you're still not asking to have sex. You're not asking for someone to force themselves on you. You know what I mean? So if you're going through this, you're in your teens, and you've gone through something like this, talk to somebody. Someone does care as much as you don't think so, and you think this problem will never go away. It does. Don't make a big screw up like I did and just bury it. I buried it. A lot of my issues with cutting myself and drinking, I starved myself. I lost 70 pounds starving myself, popping pills. I already hated myself, but I hated everybody else too. It was a really ugly place. And watching that show really hit home with so many different parts of it. A few things clicked to me when I watched it, and it's just like, wow, you know, that is rape. You say no, it means no, regardless of what you're wearing, regardless if you've been drinking, regardless of how insecure you are. No is no. And don't let anybody tell you different. If someone doesn't believe you, you go to the next person. You don't stop, because it'll haunt you for a while. I covered it up to be an okay thing, and it wasn't an okay thing at all. You feel dirty, and you feel awful about yourself. And of course, that boy don't want nothing to do with you. And it's a lesson that I can teach to my kids when they're older. I luckily met Nathan, my husband now, of 14 years. Well, we've been together 14, married for 7. But when I met him, those things turned around. Like, I stopped all those things that I was doing to hurt myself. And I started loving myself. I remember the last time I took these pills, I didn't know what they were, and Nate and I was just dating for, I think, a month. I don't know, a very little time. And he was so upset, and I'm asking why he's so upset, and he gave me this big lecture. I shouldn't be doing this stuff to hurt myself. And just to see that this boy, because it was all about the boys, you know, this boy actually cared, it meant a lot to me. And so I stopped, and when I found out I was starving myself, he made his brother-in-law at the time hold my mouth open while he shoved food in my mouth. So I blame him for being fat now as our little joke. I'm sorry. I'm glad I didn't record this earlier like I wanted to, because that was really, a lot of things hit home. But if you're going through this at all, you gotta talk to somebody. I actually called my mother and told her, because we didn't have this sex talk. We didn't have, you know, my mom's an awesome mom, but she didn't have that talk with her mom, and Grandma didn't have that talk, because in order for her to leave the house kind of situation she was in, she had to get pregnant. her dad was very abusive. Her mom was awesome, but her dad was very abusive. And plus, they didn't know about STDs and stuff at the time. My mom, she lost her dad when she was 10 to a massive heart attack, and that was her best bud, so she lost her world. And her mother had 5 kids to take care of, and was a single mom all of a sudden. So, you know, she rebelled against that, and had my oldest brother when she was 16. So it's this chain, but like I talked to my mom and I said, I'm definitely going to break that chain, and I'm going to have these talks with my kids, you know, and let them know the true, what it means to really lose your virginity, like how much that really matters, like the difference between just giving away to anybody or the person that you really love. And I wish I had that more courage in me to not feel so insecure that moment that I did. I don't know how to explain the feeling. I remember going through bits of depression when I was around that age. I was starting on Zoloft, actually. I'm sorry, you guys, if this was awkward, but, you know, if you're much older, please make sure you have those talks with your kids. Really know what's in their life. My mom was always around the corner, it seemed, when I was getting in trouble. But later on, I hid them really well. Sometimes she didn't know I was coming home high or drunk, or stay at a friend's house so I could make it to school, you know. But with the social media now these days, it's so scary. When I was in school, they did have social media, but it was like Yahoo Messenger. You know, everybody hopped on that after school and talked crap. But the people picking on you in the bowling doesn't stop, like they say, when the school bell rings. It goes and it goes and goes. And in today's world with all the social media, it's brutal when you have someone behind a keyboard. Just even like with my other channel, there's some really awful things they say. And you wouldn't believe how detailed they would go in, how they're gonna kill you and this and that. But I wish then I knew what I know now, but it's not that case. And when you're a teenager, your life is so different. So please talk to somebody, talk to me. I'll leave stuff in the description box, anything. I did not want to get on here and talk about this. You know, it's a really private thing, very personal, but I think maybe hearing just a little bit, it could help somebody. So you know you're aware, just know that. Kind of depressing. The show was depressing, but there's some really good points out of it. I don't want to say it glorifies suicide in there. I mean, they made every character as beautiful as possible, pretty much. No parents knew what was going on. And just how they did it was a little too much. Like, whoever produced it, I don't think they had your average upbringing. I don't know. Everyone's upbringing is different. I think this show is great for starting conversations and opening up to your kids. I definitely don't think, I think it's for older kids to watch, but watch it with your kids. It'll be something good for you guys to talk about, you know what I mean? Alright, I have a better video coming up soon, you guys, and I'm trying to work on a schedule here for this channel. So hang in there. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.